All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have returned for match 2 of Charge Brigade versus Phantasmagoria. For those of you just coming in, Phantasmagoria, of course, you already see it on the screen, but 1-0 over Charge Brigade. In the first 2 GPs, it was fairly close, but they ended up taking it home in the end in GP3, just outrunning CB for the majority of that GP. What would you like to see CB doing better, Eirik?
I think it starts probably with the battle in the back, right? That's something that was, I mean, look, they're trying back there, but it's really hard to do it when you have a bagger like Jazz you're going up against. So we'll see what the response is like. It seems like they still are trying to go Mario Circuit, but not going to be the first race here of match 2. Instead, Maple Treeway, which sides PT. We talked about if what these first picks would look like now that PT has them. Are they able to take advantage of them? We'll see if they can capitalize.
For sure. Alex hopping and cut took it very well. Spin drifted into it, didn't lose a lot of speed. Pulls the shrooms. That is what you want to see from Alex getting a 6th place box. Unfortunately, hits kind of an obvious Nana there. Slows his momentum down a little bit.
Yeah, at that point, choose to play Consolation and get... Well, you're trying to get something that is more like a 7th place item and not the blooper you can get there, but don't kind of expect. Unfortunate for him, he's barely going to make it over, and Alex is just struggling right now. We have to tune our eyes to Triggs on the left here, who is with Charge Brigade, and as soon as I say that, never mind.
The POW made him hop over. He was trying to get, I believe, the low trick, but the POW just kind of sent him over the ramp, and a little bit unfortunate that the POW timing came there.
Yeah. Bill in 8th seems to signal maybe something of Bolt, or if nothing else, it gives a better opportunity and changes odds for the baggers back there to pull out even in 9th. We'll see what the effect is on the heads on our mini map here, but still Alex getting hit up a bit. Trix going to survive, but just a bit better than him, but still only getting a red in a pretty distant mid spot. This pack is really spread out for what we typically see on Maple Treeway.
Yeah, well, in Maple Treeway, you sometimes see like the bottom 2 or bottom 3 start to spread out, because if you like fall off the track or if something happens to you early, like a TC, it's very hard to catch up here. Not too many spots to
oh, wow. That it looked like, I think PT read the blue shell actually coming on the mini map. You saw first slow down next to the boost pads, but it wasn't in time. It still looks like they got blued, so CB should be in first place, I think, just given that move alone. Another Bill in 8th here for Alex, and this one can be used really well.
And I think Prove is in possession of the shock right now. I think the shock was pulled early lap 3. Opted not to go for it. Actually, no. Who's the Diddy Kong?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a PT shock, yeah, because it dodges Alex and the Bill there. It also gets 2 of CB's middle spots members that thought they would get shocked into boxes after boxes, so it's a huge shock for them. They have top 3 off of it, but Red does collide. And now CB following up on them, so might not be as dominating of a race as we thought it could be.
Yeah, I thought Proof had it, but in the end, it was Jazz. This time, the bagging battle was more even. Last time, it was Jazz that won out early and pulled the shock early. This time, it was a 50-50 exchange between the two, but in the end, Jazz still pulled it out in the end. In the end, that was just a misinformation piece from me, but very good shock from PT there. The spots were mixed going into cannon, so they opted just to wait a little bit longer to pull the trigger.
Right. Well, job well done to PT to start this off the right way. And I mean, they're using all the advantages that the format really lends them. Having 1-3, getting Maple Treeway the pick there. They get top 2 and secure the win, even though they could have been substantially more, but they're not really too upset about it, having already gotten the first game win. Not as much pressure they're facing this game as opposed to CB. It feels like, I don't know, when you're in this kind of situation, it feels pretty do or die. Like every race feels very important, and that's its own kind of burden and toll on the mental game.
And in that race, we saw PT holding on to their top spots. Unlike CB in the first time that they played Maple Treeway when they started off in the alt spots, I mean, with the help of Trix pulling a fib in the first box and getting redded, but there was no help behind Trix in that respect. But PT were able to keep their top spots. They had some help, even though Alex did fail. and opted to chain 7th place box, only pulled a blooper. They still had that frontal presence that they needed, and that could be the difference between winning and losing in this particular affair. DDR does come out from them.
Yeah. DDR Jungle Parkway. See a straggling Mario circuit, that the remnant from the past picks. Yeah, I mean, DDR is exactly the kind of place that a top 2 can break out on, especially if they can backspam that sand hop at the beginning, where the littlest of differences end up stretching out into a rather sizable one, especially in lap 1, if you're able to take all the tight turns and all, and make sure they go wide with some backspam.
Trix has a decision here, by the way. Should he go for the stand up or should he go wide?
It really depends, and so often it depends on reacting. Am I in the line for the draft? Am I able to avoid that? Because sometimes you can get trapped by that. Trix this time is going to get trapped by a bump. It is a more common culprit, really. 6th place gets a gold, and wow, you love to see that. Obviously, one of the 2 possible ones at a given time, but to get it in 6th, a real favor by the Mario Kart gods, and hoping maybe for a CB comeback. Golden in 4th. And we do see PT in top 2, so can't really spare a moment in getting up here. Sure, DDR is plenty long of a track to be able to catch up on. And Derek, I think he also had triple shrooms, but ooh, a little bit of a flub here. That just sucks to see.
We saw Jazz taking the backwards ultra as well. He did get the better of the first 20 seconds of that race, as well as taking the backwards ultra. So good early start for Jazz in the bagging battle. Proof caught up to him. Could be a sign that Jazz either has shock and is baiting, or he has Bill. I think he does have shock. He's trying to get away from Proof.
Ooh, and yeah, I feel like Derek, I think we saw him in the 4th and then 3rd on the first lap of this, last lap here, and he was able to take ultra with triple shrooms just fine. So
are we going to see a star ultra dodge from Alex? That's the burning question here.
Bill does come in. It does knock a CB member. Yes, it will be, and this shock battle is proving to be so important here.
Oh, that is a deadly shock. Oh my god.
Top 2 for PT here. And more than comfortable to show CB the door, potentially, especially if we get races like this. 2 bananas trailing Alex here at a pretty crucial part that can be hard to avoid, but he decides to hold on to them. Pow does seem to land on the PTs first, so not sure if they're going to hold on to the top 2 here, but CB maybe advancing up. Trix really seems to be the last hope here for CB.
Oh, and Trix not respecting that backspam from Verley, going really tight of that. Verley probably, he pulled the shroom anyway, because why not? Top 3, maybe a top 4. No, a shot coming in for CB there. Still a very good race for PT nonetheless.
Yeah, that is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how CB will react to this match after this race. This we were talking about the most important race being maybe race 10 last time. It might have been race 2 here or race 1 here.
Potentially, yeah. And I don't blame Trix too much for that race loss, even though he did miss the sand hop. He was put under a lot of duress there from Verley, who took a very wide line in 2nd. And so Trix was trying to hold his mini turbo for as long as possible, preventing the bump, and did recover pretty well, even though he did get bumped. Instead of hitting the sand early after getting bumped, he hit the sand late, so he kept the mid spot. But PT made sand hop in top 2, ran that consistently, and Jazz won out in the bagging battle. Overall, fairly solid race being played there from PT.
Love to see it if you're a PT fan. CB though, this is their. They've got to be sweating at this point.
A little bit of luck too from the Bill pull, by the way. But aside from that, it was fairly well driven from PT. It was just the 8th place Bill from Derek, pretty much solidifying that really strong race versus a decent race from them. But let's see what comes out here for PT. I expect maybe I wouldn't say BCW. I'd say an MH, and there we go, right on cue. MH.
Well, yeah, I think so far the track picks have gone PT's way generally, which might be something you're thinking about in the back of your head a bit with if you're CB. I've definitely been in this position before of, it's tough to keep your focus, and any little thing will kind of irk you a little bit more than it normally does. And if track picks aren't going your way, I don't know. It's easy to point out in a call environment like that. and dwell on it a little bit too much. We'll see if CB is able to avoid that kind of bad mentality and respond with something of their own here.
For sure. And Tricks, I forgot to mention that he did fail the Sandhop Lap 2, which is another factor for PT's. Winyer has another golden in a decent spot, this time taking advantage, making sure he doesn't hit any cars, making sure he actually gets up to the front this time around without failing. So Tricks is opting to back his life early on. I would like to see him back around the 90-degree turns rather than backing there, maybe trying to backspin unpredictably, but he doesn't have any more nanas. Interesting snipe attempt from Alex, doesn't connect.
Yeah, valiant enough, especially on the straightaways, but I feel like at this level, everyone knows they're going to be looking. You're not going to really catch anyone too off guard and not looking backwards often.
And okay, I think Trix is running. I'm sorry, not Trix. Prove is running away with the shock in the end there. I saw him spin out though, so I think he hit the car on the side, but he still pulled the shock anyway. So that's not going to matter in the end. So CB could turn this race around. Actually, not turn this race around. They are top 2. Excuse me. So they're probably just going to hold on to this until the very, very end, unless something happens.
Yeah, well, it could be one of the first good races we've seen from them in a while. Significantly good. I think the only really big races we've seen have been maintained and achieved by PT throughout this match. So I feel like that's telling in and of itself. Shock will come out. Seems like Alex is going to get comboed on. No time or opportunity to really dive behind the kind of barricades there, and that's going to be Alex sent back to 4th from 2nd. CB, maybe. Is that a top 3?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Not a bad shock from them. I would assume that one of them got forced out of their Mega, just based on the fact that they used it there. And they had 2 dodges anyway, so they just decided to call it there. No dodges coming out from PT. Prove finally getting a shock of his own there. He was I was wondering if he was gonna let that previous shock count in the last war, which according to Elmer, by the way, 11-1. So
Jeez.
If that statistic is correct, I was wondering how Prove's mentality was going into this one, but may this be the race that he starts to bring it back.
That's overwhelming. But yeah, CB able to do such a good job for them. That's a 21-point win. So with that alone, able to start thinking about realistically a match 2 that actually can go their way, which was not seeming the case for me at least.
And you were talking about, by the way, you were talking in regards to the bagging battle, or in regards to just CB in general. You were talking about they may or may not need to change something. I thought that a change would have been to sub in Neo for Prove, but just keeping Prove in here. This could be a sign that they are confident in Prove. Maybe Prove was in good form going into this match, and just had a little bit of a slump in that first match. But they're putting their trust in Prove here, and let's see how well he'll be able to sustain the level of expectation that is put on him in such a high stakes match here. Remember, this is a double elimination tournament, so winner go home for both of these sides. Phantasmagoria comes out. We didn't see that too much in the last war, but their staple track pick coming out this time. Peach Gardens. What do you think CB should do here with top 3? Because shrooms are usually pulled in like 4th through 6th and through 7th. What should they do here if you were at CB? What would you do here?
I feel like the 2-2 split here is between 2 runners.
Okay. Top 2 burned out from CB. That completely nullifies whatever they decided to do.
Yep, and that's a red maybe on. Okay, no, not gonna land on Christian, but. Yeah, that is pretty bad. But at the same time, honestly, like, heck, that could have been intentional too. Like, Lord knows, starting off first here isn't really the most fun thing to be a part of.
I'm not sure if it was intentional.
Yeah, I doubt it. But like, I could see it being like a kind of giggle thing for CB.
CB, I mean, Zero does make his way up to 2nd. He has a decision to make. Does he want to stay in Alex's line? And if he did, he would have eaten a fib right away, but Zero was aware of that. Bomb coming in, Zero coming away, gets slowed down a little bit by the bomb, but still in 2nd.
Trix is on the left side here with Derek right ahead of him. Does see both Derek's really actually ahead of him. So he's going to be able to move up into a better middle spot. Well, this is exactly the point in the map where we do see Peach Gardens tend to split up in packs. And we can see very much that that is the case here. First place super gone from the rest. But it seems like Shock is still very much being contested over. And maybe it's a Diddy that is able to hold on.
Yeah, I think the Diddy was trying. I think Prove was trying to run away from Jazz in the end, and Jazz I think may or may not be itemless right now. Pau comes in, forcing Chris. Okay, no, I thought he was in a star there. Bill comes in from Derek. Okay, that was.
Sure.
Yep.
That's a Bill and a star I think that we saw, and moving on up, we'll see if they can use the rest of that to their advantage. At least going to be able to pass up Zero here, who was in second, now third, and very close to some other worse spots. It seems like CB only has one person here at Zero, and so this can be very crucial for CB if they want to make sure they keep their place in this match. They might be able to do it with the help of a blue shell coming in at the last minute. Red shell out here for Alex. Kind of combo possible for him. No, PT still, though, should be able to end it up.
Watch out for Tricks coming up the rear. 8-point kill alert.
2-3. 2-3 there. Oh, God. Derek's going to get hit at the very end there, though. It's just unfortunate for him. Hard to say what the results were, the nitty gritty, but I'm pretty sure PT comes out.
Yeah, I'd still say like a 1-4-5 or 2-4-5. It was either a slightly winning race or like a neutral race, I'd say. That Bill was clutch in the end.
Yeah, geez. Well, seems like this is something that CB is struggling to find the answers for currently. Just barely able to make it up at the end with the help of that Bill especially, but it looks like a slight race loss for them by around 3 points. Nothing too much to be concerned about. And with that said, yeah, solid enough GP here for PT.
Yeah, and I'd also like to point out the bagging battle again. Jazz has been fairly confident in his lines going backwards because he has been the one that has mainly gone backwards first in the tracks that are 50-50. In Peach Gardens, obviously, the backward strat is to go backwards at around 21 seconds going past the box because you'll hit a box at 30 seconds on the chain chomp section.
Yeah.
He opted to go backwards a little bit earlier than that, but he was able to maintain his 10th there and pulled the shock somewhere down the line. I believe it was somewhere lap 2, but you know, that just speaks volumes about how confident Jazz is in his strats and how confident he is in his lines. Because keep in mind, you can, you know, as a bagger, one of the underrated things is to have good lines. And that's not one of the bigger focuses in the bagging meta, but it can mean the difference between you getting the shock and not getting the shock.
Well, can CB keep on this response? It seems like fairly solid promise here, a promising start here for the trailing side. I have faith, having a little bit of faith here for them, but we'll see how it pans out with CB again starting off in 2-4-6, the even spots this time around. What will they eye? Maybe BC3. Yeah, that's going to seem to be the call here. Derek loves going for that ultra. Any position in any day of the week. Cubic Cave is going to be the pick on the other hand for PT.
I kind of want to see a BC3 race here. Last BC3 race was kind of back and forth, but PT kind of took it in the end. They shocked, I believe, to prevent CB from taking it, and after that, it was all PT.
Another PT course pick, though.
Trix, let's see. Yeah, Trix is in second here. Let's see.
Triple greens, oh, perfect. I mean, green shell right behind him, so it looks like everyone's going to be able to get the start that they want to get here, either Shroomba or at least able to use the Shroom Alex is to move up even better, but does, I think, get bumped a decent bit, so they're not able to stay up there with him.
Quite a bit there, and we saw Trix kind of get put off a little bit when he tried to snipe Derek. He's still, you know, through the green on the tight line, but I think Derek went wide. And a little bit of a bump fest there. Like I said before, laggy from Derek's side. kind of bumps Tricks into the zapper there. So we're going to see a top 2 from PT and a star drop onto second. That's what you'd like to see. Instead of first taking the star, just have second take it so that they can break away a little bit further. Verley shares it too.
So at least it affords them, you know, maybe gaining a second ahead of the people behind them. But Mega Mushroom for Tricks, I think he'll take that trade. It at least secures a dodge in some kind of situation. If they are leading in the bagging department, hard to say if that is the case. But Diddy is in the back. Seems like they've chosen to go for the box in last, whereas 9th place boxes and the abundance of them being available is the strat of the other Funky in the bottom right.
Alex, this is going to be a key exchange between Alex and Derek, and very good work from Alex there. But the green comes around the loop anyway and hits him, because why not?
Yeah, Alex, not the place you want to be. Tricks getting a dodge and a mega, waiting a decent bit for that mega to get used, and then gets triple reds as well. Perfect for Charge Brigade. This is exactly the comeback they need to be seeing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a looks to me like a top 3. Is that CB in first? It has to be, right?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Norm. It's on top 3. Still, even with this blue, they're gonna be in good position here, as there aren't really any catch-up tracks catch-up spots here aside from the end where you take the waterfall. So they're in very prime position here, and maybe we could see a star drop from Peru just to solidify this top 3 potentially. No, he's way in the back.
Alex able to move up the right with the greens coming around, able to avoid them for now, but that's a lot of greens to avoid. Will he be able to keep doing it? Christian, just backspin him, please. Okay, no backspin, that's fine.
That's the response you like to see from CB, most certainly.
Yeah, that's a good bit of top spots and nearing up, tying the match, which for CB, a sigh of relief if nothing else. Like finally, like after all these times, it's generally been PT course picks, and those can have such impact, such subtle impact too. But the fact that they just get finally, it's significant enough, I think, when Cupid Cave has to be something. It gives them pause, if nothing else. Yeah, 1, 3, 4, and 6.
And one of the turning points of that race was the green that landed onto Alex coming up from Derek there. A little bit unfortunate because Alex was aware of the fact that Derek was like in prime position to snipe him. So Alex went on the roof of the pipe there to avoid the green, came back at him anyway. You know, had he avoided that green, he could have been up there at least to contest the top spots. So in the end, you know, after that, it was just all CB. They had the shock. 2 of them dodged. Easy win for CB. And we're going to see a fairly close affair here. I think with that win, CB will take the lead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it happens at this point. Okay, I can't say pretty sure, but again, this race being equally important, so to speak. I maybe spoke a little bit too early when saying race 2 was the most important, but I mean, it certainly is amongst the, I would say, if not the most important, amongst the 2 most important races, because it really set the tone for this match from the get-go, and CB having to play spend the first half of the war playing catch-up.
And again, we see Parkway being pulled here from CB. Fairly unorthodox track pick besides, you know, Gun. I know Gun like to pick that, but other than Gun and CB, we really don't see this track being played too often. And in this particular track, last time out, we saw PT, we saw Jazz pulling the shock in the end, winning the bagging battle. Throughout that entire race, really, he was in 10th the entire race there. Unfortunately, Trix gets bagged and Fib comboed there, so early start here from PT, fairly solid. The spots are fairly mixed though, because CB were starting in decent spots, so I believe it's going to be like a top 2 or 1, 3, 6, 8 right now for CB. Yeah,
Alex has got to watch his green around him. Fortunately enough, gets the draft in an odd spot, but as it happens in Parkway, decent bit. So these triple streams he's been holding for a while. It's the right moves. You can try chancing something better, but it's really not worth it to be able to do the shortcut, but does flub a little bit, so is only really going to be able to move into 3rd here. Could have probably moved in a 2nd. Ooh.
Yeah, both of our streamers not taking the cut very ideally there, but in the end, I think that exchange favored PT as Alex was able to get a red off there onto Derek. Some tight back spams there from Zero. Maybe, okay, it does connect on Matt. I was going to say maybe back that a little bit wide, make it a little unpredictable there. Oh, okay, that is key. That was a key back spam from Zero. That was very well placed.
Yeah, Alex going to have to pay the price for it. In the meantime, Trick's paying another price at the same time. Pow in 7th, probably holding it for one of their folks up there who's holding a shroom or something. I think that might be Zero up there in 1st, yeah. Maybe with a shroom of some kind. No? Okay, well, they feel comfortable enough to be able to use the POW. Mega comes through for Trick, so he's going to be able to at least closen the gap. It's still a pretty intimidating one to look at, though, and I have to wonder what might happen here with the cannon coming up, if anything at all.
There it is. It looks to me like that. Let's see the battle glitch here. Who comes up? That's a PT shock. Yeah, 2 a PT getting in the cannon there.
Every time.
All the cannon tracks have favored Jazz, it seems.
Yeah, it's just so consistent there. I know that, I mean, we're talking about CV on a comeback, but we have to recognize greatness when we've seen it, and so far that greatness has definitely been with Jazz, at least in part. Consistency, that kind of level of consistent play, regardless of your position, is always so crucial.
Top 2, bottom 2 from CB, though. I mean, for PT. A bomb comes out in the end, doesn't connect on anybody. It's going to be a top 2 confirmed for PT.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, fine. So be it. Kart Brigade still have plenty of room in their gas tank to be able to account for this. This is only a 3-point deficit they were facing, so even if they do win by a little bit here, won't be the end of the world. But Charge Brigade, I think this is their course pick, right?
Yeah, that was their track pick in the end. Yes.
Hate to waste one of the few course picks they get and actually not come out on top, unfortunately for them.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to point out, it was actually Prove that went backwards first that time. I mentioned that Jazz usually goes backwards first. That time it was Prove. But in the end, he either pulled Bill. He probably pulled Bill in the end. So assuming that he did get a box in 9th, not in 9th. I'm sorry. Jazz probably pulled like a star golden to catch back up. So unfortunately, even though Prove hasn't been doing that great in some of the skill tracks, in some of the 50-50 tracks hasn't had the best of the exchanges either. So I wouldn't go on a limb and say that Prove is doing a terrible job, because sometimes the bagging battle does depend on those 50-50 bagging courses in which you have to choose to go back first or not. And Jazz has won out in those ones too.
Well then, Coconut Mall, maybe the thing to get PT back into their swing of things and the momentum they were kind of having for this match. CB seemed to not really decide between Mushroom Gorge or VC3, but Mushroom Gorge seems to be the play. But I can't help but think that maybe Trickster Zero was involved in that one.
And I haven't paid too much attention to the bagging, but I will look at the 30-second mark, because this is a 50-50 track, but this is one of the more skill-based ones. Like, sometimes you can juke the other bagger out, fake him out to get a 10th place box.
Right.
So it can be an interesting exchange in that respect. But Triple Shrooms in 4th for Tricks here, very much in position to get a very good race if there is no shock in the end.
Yep. Shocks, I mean, again, we saw it last time. It's just so hard for baggers to generally just get shock here. The limited amount of item boxes you're able to hit in 10th without having to risk losing your 10th place spot, just having to always go backwards in it with it's just tough. So we'll see if people choose to really hold their item boxes for too long. Gaps do form here relatively often between first and the bottom spots.
Jazz
so far,
Prove, yeah. Now he has a huge break in 10th.
Trix did have 2 shrooms in first, but it's going to be a POW and a red. I think he could have gotten away if he didn't want to stop there, but...
Yeah, he could have used one of his shrooms. It is a little bit risky to use a shroom there, but it is very much possible to realign onto a mushroom there. I think Trix might have thought he could have made it to the mushroom there, but he didn't. Gotcha.
Yeah, well, either way, 8th place. Now that the gap between, this whole pack is generally not too bad right now, it should be okay with it. PT isn't really slowing down for any dodges here, so that really signals that they either had them
Huge.
already or...
This is huge because I think Jazz has the shock here, so he can delay the shock coming in for PT or even predict it first frame in case they opt to like TS CB going for cut.
Yeah, glad he got to use it in time. I was worried that he would get maybe too greedy with it, but this should put a pause to it for now. At least does. Okay, does come immediately after the shock, so maybe he will be able to grow up and beat... No, it's just not going to happen in time for him.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, maybe should he hold this on, hold this for a little bit longer, considering that PT were in like 1-3, and most likely they were going to hold on to that shock anyway. Of course, it's easy to say sitting in my chair, but I feel like had he used that bill a little bit later, it would have prevented PT from shocking, or he could predict the shock, because I think he used that to delay the shock more than anything.
Right, right. Okay, yeah. PT gets back into the swing of it with the Mushroom Gorge pick. CB's pick's just not really doing them too much good, it seems.
No, I mean that happens in this game, and while PT have had their fair share of good races in terms of driving and whatnot, yeah, the track picks have not gone their way, and that's something that maybe CB will clamor about in the end. Maybe they will feel like they've been hard done by, but we'll see. In this game, it happens. You have to adjust. You have to, you have to adapt to whatever gets thrown at you.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look here for a race 8. A 17-point differential, not bad at all. One you will certainly take over what you were facing before as CB.
Yeah, and DKS here coming out from PT once again. In the last war, I mean, the war was already over mathematically, but still, PT just put a stamp on the match with the DKS race, making the double pretty consistently. Tricks ended up failing at lap 2. Of course, every race is different, but just wanted to point that out. Let's see if CB can turn it around this time, especially with a match this close. Anything can happen, and all the little things will matter. All the little plays that you make, all the little mistakes that you make will add up.
Alex, your role here is big. You can start shutting down a Charge Brigade comeback right now if you're able to hold on to first. I know that both sides really seem... I think both sides are very comfortable with this track, so it'll be interesting to see how they manage.
And that was a good back from Malins. He backed it on the tight line. It's a fairly, consistent backspam. Sometimes runners will go wide to avoid the tight backspam right before that ramp, but it's more of a backspam to keep the other team at bay. But that time, it did connect onto Tricks. He was a little bit too greedy in that turn. Zero does make the double though, and is able to get up to first.
All right, Tricks, what do you have up your sleeve? Star, apparently Star, a couple of reds, not bad at all, especially with a PC member in
Zero
front of
with
him.
bad physics. Alex tries to snipe Zero on the way down, but hits himself. A little bit unfortunate. Just didn't know the trajectory of his own fib right there.
Tries to go for the Superman play, but I think that is what's going to get CB back into this war. Was that fib?
Matt actually Matt and Burley both taking the double though. They are absolutely adamant to keep their top spots no matter what happens in the race. And that's what you like to see from PT, just taking all the necessary strats and whatnot to make sure you stay up there. No shot.
Nothing at all just yet. That Star used preemptively, of course, to see if it's what's needed, the extra edge needed to be able to dodge. But nothing yet, and Alex with the Star chaining here makes me think some funny things, but nothing just yet with the shock. No dodge is being used by CB's part in reaction to it either. Another Star for Alex, at least seems like it'll help with a safer double shortcut taken, but it's gonna be a rough one from Alex's part. In the meantime, Trick's able to take the last turn pretty well, and I think getting third place off of it. I don't know what happened to Christian there.
Yeah, Trix didn't take double because there was a wide Nana, right? And Verley was trailing a Nana, so he didn't want to go tight and get Nana'd off there, so he just went really wide, took the single. But Zero wasn't first, right? Zero wasn't first going into lap 2. He took a little bit of iffy ramp after the cannon, but still held on to his first after Alex sniped himself. But you know, he lost first rather easily. I'm not sure if it was a blue or if it was failing double. I'll check that up in a sec. But it was just all PT after that. After the double exchanges in lap 2, it was just all PT.
All right. And with that, I think that's going to be we're going to be having Fusion come on the cast for the last GP of match 2 here. PT able to show some great stuff. Actually, well, both sides really. And it's going to be an exciting one here as we are coming to get this match to a close, but we're not really any more closer or certain about what the result of it's going to be.
Yeah.
With that though, Fusion, welcome onto the air. What's your take on the match so far, or maybe how what we could be seeing here in the last 4 races?
Well, it's going as I thought it would, as all CBPT matches would be. It'd be close, very hotly contested, and usually the shocks would decide the matter of a race. And I have played in some of these myself, and I know that it's just going exactly how I thought it would be. So seeing this, I think that the third GP will probably be more of the same, of who's going to get shocked first, and also how can they play throughout the race to, you know, maybe keep top spots and whatnot. So I think that what the key to success is for both teams basically is just keeping those top spots as much as they can, because one shot could just turn the whole race upside down.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, welcome along, by the way, Fusion. I would like to confirm, by the way, on how Zero lost his first. He got redded as he was taking single or double. I would assume single. He did have triple nanas before that, which was kind of odd. You know, you'd think that he'd get protection there, but I think he back 2 of his nanas, and then maybe there was another red coming on to him before he got redded right after. So that's the confirmation of how he lost first. It's a little unfortunate in that sense, but yeah, CB, one of CB's keys to winning here is going to be to maintain top spots as best as possible, because in GP3 of match 1 and in a few races in this particular war, they've been a little iffy, and once they've gotten up there, you know, it's the little mistakes, whether it's lines wise or you know, any little mistake can add up, and PT are on their day lines wise today, so CB cannot afford to make these mistakes anymore. Okay, Tricks off the track. Derek, I don't know. I don't think he was able to pass the TC off in the end, but I mean, considering that Tricks went off the track to avoid that, wasn't that bad of an exchange for PT.
Yeah, both streamers having triple stream, so they're both gonna opt to take the rock right here. And yeah, Christian makes it over. Alex just barely makes it onto the rock and gets shoved right off. That's gonna cost him a lot of time. It's gonna put him right back. And Trix barely makes the rock, and he has a Schumann 6 keeping up with the pack. So now Alex has a long way to go to catch up from here.
Right. And one of PT failed the rock in lap 1, and Kristen made it. So this could start to be a turning point, at least for this particular race for PT. Bottom 2 by a mile. Bottom 3 now after after Derek got redded there. So a POW here for CB, although he can't really do much with this because CB are probably all holding shrooms right now. Maybe he could hold this POW. Shot comes in early there from PT, dodging. I think that was a PT shot, right?
Yes, I'm dodging Matt. He's the only top spot up there.
Yeah, that's what you need to do if you're PT. And I'm assuming that PT somehow didn't pull shrooms. Maybe they pulled bloopers. They pulled other items aside from the shrooms. So they just decided to get Verley in the cut and just try to control the damage.
Good bomb snipe.
Yes. And, okay, Tricks with a star here. What would you do, considering that I think that may... Who's winning on the bagging battle, do you see?
Well, Prue's further back, but you never know if Jazz could get it in 9th here.
Right. Tricks... Okay, there it is.
Right on CB shock. Prue getting a crucial shock right here, and dodging Christian in the cut. I think he's able to beat Matt. It hits... I think he might have hit one of Matt's trails at the end, so I think Matt still got first either way.
Yeah, and Jazz got the first shock, of course, but he was relegated to 9th place position, you know, after having to use that second shock, you know. Prue was in prime position to pull a second one, but PT, that was their only real method of catching back up, is dodging Verley there. because had they, dodged bottom 2, it resets the race. It doesn't necessarily put them in position to do something, especially with Jazz with the shock in 9th. They just have Verley dodge all the way up to 1st and try to secure a damage control race, but Verley still got 7.
Hey, was able to beat Matt out. Nice.
Huge race from CB, absolutely. And had PT been a little bit more consistent with the rock hop in laps 1 and 2, this could have been a much different story, because we saw one of PT failing the rock lap 1, Kristen making it, and that was just curtains from the get-go, it seemed, even with that shock from PT. So CB pretty well.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to come out here with top 3-5?
Has DK Mountain been picked yet?
No.
They're probably going to go either that or BC Wii, because I know that Zero would normally take glitch on BC Wii, and they could have, since they have Christian and so they have Christian and Derek, they could both consistently run up there, and having Zero being a glitch taker, they'll be able to break away, and then they could just have their 2-3 just try to maintain as much as they can, because they could just secure first off 2 glitches. And here they go with BC Wii, which is a much safer bet than DK Mountain, because there's always a cannon, and getting shocked out of a cannon just basically sucks.
Right, and 2 factors for BC Wii coming out over DKM. The reason why BC Wii is better. Number 1, Jazz has gotten the best of Prove in most tracks, most of them being cannon tracks, by the way. I don't think Prove has gotten 1 in any cannon track so far. Number 2, PT are not too strong in the glitch, but it is going to be MC3 anyway, so all of that talk about BC Wii over DKM is kind of nullified.
Yeah.
Did we see who got the 8th place box there?
Yeah, Trix got the 8th place box, but he pulls a star, and Zero just redded Matt.
Okay. And Jazz, once again, going backwards first. He has been the one that is committed first to the bagging strap, but Prove this time, and Jazz did pull a bill there in the end. So Prove, in prime position to pull the shock here. If he doesn't pull it, that is absolutely criminal.
And Zero getting a very rough start to this race, so he gets 2 TCs.
Okay, Alex, I was gonna say, could maybe bomb snipe Norm or Derek in the next few turns, but has to back the bomb due to the red. Right now, in terms of the spots, it is gonna be. I couldn't catch them first, actually.
There's Derek in first.
Yeah, the item spam is making it really hard, Alex. Come on. Top 2-4 for PT though.
And a blue comes out, and Alex with his POW. I think what he should do is try to target out Derek right here.
Yeah, maybe getting into cut or right here actually. Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh wait, he had a mega, and will Alex be able to have some protection to guard himself in this red? He gets side redded, and there's another blue and a snipe from Trix.
Okay, Trix.
That's gonna be I believe a top 2-4. What an incredible snipe by Trix.
Yeah, what? Okay, Trix. Yeah, I think he was trying to snipe top 2 maybe, but still. Seeing that Derek was coming up there and Derek just landed right into that bomb, nothing Derek could do there. That was the play of the race for sure. And that could be the difference, honestly, between CB getting eliminated and staying in this. That could very well be the difference.
For sure. Yeah, top 2-4. And that's a pretty huge play from Trix there, because that basically saves their race. And this is definitely a turning point after how close the first 2 GPs were.
Absolutely, yeah. Trix paying tribute to the late and great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. That was a hell of a shot. But it's going to be a 14-point lead now for CB going into race 11. And, if anything, that gives them another chance to pick BC Wii or another chance to pick DKM instead of a reset track like Delfino or Sherbetland had that snipe not come off. And BC Wii will be the track pick once again. And like I mentioned before, BC Wii is not one of Phantasmagoria's strongest running tracks among this top 8. So one of the weaker teams in BC Wii in particular.
They can get this pick off. I think it'll actually it might end up deciding the fate of this entire match, and they do get it. So I'm expecting Zero to probably go for glitch here, while Trix and Derek just run it up.
Yeah, and if you're okay, what would you do if you're top 3? Would you have first maybe take the middle box, or would you just
Well, they're
take all
top
3 boxes?
2-4, so what they have to do is they're gonna have to try to slow third down.
Yeah. And there's the strategy from Derek to take the middle box there and have Trix take the right box, and it proved to have worked so far. I don't see any item spam coming up from PT so far.
That's just slips on his Nana, and Trix so.
Although, okay.
I think Derek might try to block glitch so Zero can't take it.
No. Maybe. Okay, Trix opts not to block it himself. Considering that PT were 2-3, I did say that they didn't spam items in the beginning, but I think Derek might have hit the wall, either that or got bumped or something. So PT are 2-3-4 right now. I mean, a lot of people streaming up, so that kind of changed.
Oh, and Alex just streamed off the track.
Bye, Alex. That's not what you want to see. He wasn't able to readjust his line after he got bumped there. Pau comes in. I think getting CB in the air there. Maybe they're holding on to a couple of dodges.
Shit.
That was a clean snipe there from Matt. My God. Matt single-handedly turning this race around. It was a 1-4 for CB, and now it's going to be a top 3 for CB. That really changed it around quickly. And Jazz winning on the bagging battle. It is shockless, however, so the shock won't be pulled for another 30 seconds or so, allowing maybe CB to recoup a little bit more.
Ooh, nice try to actually slow down the top 3. I wonder if they're gonna have to try to cycle for blue if they can, because top 3 here, they could just back as much as they can.
I'm surprised that Pau didn't do more damage. That was really good recovery from the top 3 in PT.
Oh, and Alex has the blue, so he's just gonna have to hold this for the rest of the race, and it's pretty much gonna secure top 3 unless CB is able to get shocked here.
Very unlikely that they will get it in the end, though. I will pay attention to the bagging battle to see what mannerisms both baggers have. Like if Jazz doesn't fall off, he might have the shock, for example. And I think we may be seeing that. They may just have it here. Actually, no, he's going towards Prove.
Zero made the glitch, and blue's out. Hopefully if Zero has shrooms, he's just dodging this one easily. And Trix uses a mega. Derek gets slowed down.
Oh.
Does get blued, Zero. But that's gonna at least break up their top 3, and that's gonna give CB, I think that was like a 2, that might have been a 2-3.
It was still a winning race nonetheless for PT. That was very clutch from Zero to be able to make the glitch there. Unfortunately for him, gets blued right away. He probably feels very, very hard done by from that particular exchange. But yeah, PT were just able to recover the top spots early on. I'm not sure what happened to Derek in the beginning. That proved to be the turning point of the race. Derek losing out on first in the end. I'm not sure what happened, whether he got bumped or whatever, but in the end, PT were able to hold on to their top spots seamlessly, especially with that snipe from Matt coming in lap 2 onto Trix.
Yeah, that was very crucial, because having him up there, you're just going to have to deal with a lot of back spam, and he can put him in some pretty cheesy spots that you won't be able to see, and then...
This is coming down to the wire, guys. For those of you coming in, this is a best of 3, and this is a win or go home match. This is a loser's bracket round 1 match between both sides in the final 8 tournament. And grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. We very well could see one of the races of the season, potentially, depending on how entertaining the actual match is. But the stakes are very high right now for both sides.
Yeah. Let's go big or go home here. And CB is holding onto a 5-point lead. And BC3, I feel like this is probably a neutral track, because I know that both sides can do Ultra pretty well. And team play is important here, because blocking the cut and having your teammates being able to unblock it for you, and you can get up there as fast as you can, it's really, really crucial.
Absolutely. And CB, usually when they pick this track, they have a set game plan. Okay, we'll block the cut, we'll have Zero block the Ultra, and then have him take it after he blocks it for a good 5 to 10 seconds. It didn't work out for them last time, though, as Zero went for it right away and missed it. and that proved to be one of the turning points of the race as PT were able to take cut in lap 1 and lap 2, and were able to solidify that the top 2 or top 3, whatever they had. Burley does have a fib though. Trix opting not to try to snipe. Okay, opts to snipe it here.
If Verley gets the second block, he's probably going to try to block cut, and he'll say, yep, there it is.
I love that from Burley, dragging the fib out, body blocking the cut temporarily more than anything. Alex missing the ultra, forced out of his bill there. And two people took the cut. I couldn't quite see who did.
Matt
so in the
and
Matt.
Derek both take cut, and
Yeah.
they're just in top 2 right now, which is pretty good for a start. But it is BC3, and anything can happen. Yeah, Chicks is hit with a nice backspin there. And Alex is going to try to slow him down with his mega, which is the best thing that you can do in order to give top 2 more of a break. And
I think
secure it.
I think catches Verley in the end. Early shot coming in. That's what you need from CB. Top 2 completely broken away, and that is going to be proved in 10th by a long shot as well. So he's in position to pull another one. This is one of Prue's stronger bagging tracks. He has struggled a little bit against Jazz thus far, but this could very well be the race of the entire match for Prue. The pressure is on him, and so far he's winning out.
Next point with TC, Trix is able to make cut, and did you see a blue? No,
I don't think
that's just my eyes deceiving me.
It's okay. Bomb onto Derek, though. He is one of the people. He is the person that dodged. So considering that, okay, he got bumped off as well, I believe. So actually, no, he's either that or he's hard stuck in the back. But considering that he was the one that dodged up, that is not what you want to see from CB. They're going to have to take major risks right now. They're going to have to go for ultra. They're going to have to unblock the cut here. Zero is going to have to take it right now in 4th. He is aligning for it. No.
Matt's still there, so he just falls out of the top 2. And Derek's the lone one up there, and there's a shock. I think that might have been another CB shock. And
yeah, potentially, because there were PT aligning for the cut there. So even with Zero missing the ultra, we saw Trix taking it. Kristen is in 3rd. He's going to have to lock this down if they want to maintain this.
He bumps out 4th.
Oh my God, that is a great play. Great play from Kristen. That play right there just secured the win for CB, and they are alive. PT though with the 145. Excuse me. I think that's
yeah, this was close. I think it's over.
Oh my God.
I think they barely ran scripted because chat did say that CB was up 3, so I think they just.
Wait, is that a tie?
It's a tie?
No way. Does the tie favor the runner?
What?
Does the tie go to the runner as we speak in baseball terms? Will there be an overtime, or will PT run away with this? There has to be an overtime.
Yeah, there has to be. What?
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, surely they have to play a tiebreaker GP.
There has to be. Yeah, there will be overtime in this case. There will be an overtime GP to settle the score here. And Charge Brigade, this isn't anything new for them. They've been in overtime before. Overtime is a rare thing in Mario Kart Wii, but they have been here before. Of course, going back to that spring split semi-final against Avail, in which they did lose out in the end, but this is what you like to see.
It'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen here, because if CB can, just remembering from that, that Avail match, maybe they'll be able to use that and kind of, try to reverse the fortunes.
We're going to be going into overtime of this match. This is win or go home for Charge Brigade. And DK Mountain finally coming out from them. They haven't really been pulling the trigger on this, but they finally come out with it. This is one of their staple track picks, or used to be one of them, but it's coming back out again.
Shocks are going to be crucial here too, because cannon shocks are pretty devastating if you can get them to do it right. So if they can't, PT is going to have to hold their top flux as much as possible.
Right. And Trix has a bit of a better starting position than Derek, but it looks to me like Derek takes a very good line, and Trix overcommitted a little bit to that wheelie, running into the trail there for Derek. So PT, decent start early on, and Alex opting to schlag here, little too far though. Yeah, do you think that was the right play in the end, even though he did overcommit to it?
I mean, you have to get up. You have to get up there as fast as you can because DKM is a pretty tough track to be playing in the pack. You want to be in the front.
Yeah, Derek's off. I think he might have gotten bumped by Kristen potentially, and Zero got fib snipe, I believe, and then Matt hits his own fib. What's going on? Zero got fib sniped or something, or maybe hit the fib that was already on the bridge, and then Matt fib sniped himself. That the bridge physics really not proving to be very ideal for either side there. With that being said, Kristen is now locking down first. Top 2 for CB here.
And this is where Jazz is going to have to go for shock soon because having CB in top 2, like past the cannon, that's just going to be detrimental because if Proof were to get it, they could just secure top 2 right here and then they could just secure the race as a whole.
Kristen, and luckily for him, yeah,
fails a little bit, but Alex with his bomb, see if he can get it off right here. And he does get him, which is very, very crucial. And Trix is the lone one in first right now.
Yeah, and Alex was right behind Kristen, so he just opted not to wheelie, slow down a little bit, and that was perfectly weighted. Another shot coming in here for PT. They've gotten the lion's share of shots in the cannon tracks, let alone the entire match so far. So that's going to be a top 2 fib snipe coming up, almost connects. But with that being said, I think PT are just going to hold on to this top 2, barring no blues.
Or even a POW. And he does get bag tricks, and I think this is just going to secure a top 2 for PT.
Yeah, POW comes in from PT, though. Even further damage for CB, and we very much could see PT coming up the rear with stars or shrooms. Derek overtakes. It's going to be a top 2, 5-8 for PT. Little bit of chaotic scenes in the beginning of the race there. Had Zero not run into that fib, which, I mean, I wasn't sure if it was sniped or if it was placed on the bridge, but it looked to me like he got bad physics as he was wheeling, went straight into the fib. So he wasn't able to maintain his frontal presence, and this is one of Zero's strongest tracks, so what could have been for CB, honestly. I mean, there were still top spots going into the cannon, but you know, what could have been there for CB? +9. Go ahead.
I think had Christian not failed a little bit there, I think it would have been able to, if anything, allow one of CB to slow down with Alex so they could have dodged with him.
Well, he got blued.
He got blued. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got blued. Kristen got blued going into the bridge section. But yeah, Kristen, I mentioned in the beginning of the cast that he's going to be one of the players to look at. A little bit of pressure on him as an individual that has not played too much for Charge Brigade in the league setting, maybe in the scrim setting, but not in like the top echelon of Mario Kart Wii. He has proved his worth so far, and let's see if he can keep up the momentum. At times, we've seen Zero lose top spots, and in the first match, I think he scored 40-something. So, not what you want to see from a veteran player such as Zero. But let's see if he can wipe all those previous race mistakes and see if he can lock it down for his team, because they need him at this point. They need anything they can get.
RMC being picked, and it's basically just a quick refresh chat. Having most of the bottom spot, CB is going to be able to grab some shrooms right here and maybe some dodges as well to get up there as fast as possible. Alex pulls the TC straight away.
Yeah, CB getting bottom 2 boxes. Tricks, I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think is a good idea in the end. It looks to me like he did schlag pretty well. And Derek forced out of Bill. I'm not sure if it was forced out of it or he used it early. Maybe it was the TC that he got forced out of it.
Yeah, he did get that TC, which is going to hurt a little bit because that basically allows for either Knife or 10th to get Bill now, and it's not going to let Prove get back there as fast as possible.
Jazz with a huge break in 10th, by the way. I just want to point that out. I've already mentioned that Prove has not had the best 2 matches here, but even in the 50-50 tracks where both baggers sit at the box until one bagger commits and the other bagger gets a box in 9th, even in those tracks, Prove has not gotten the better of Jazz in that respect. So Jazz most likely has the shock here, assuming he is running away from Prove right now.
The Prove's just sitting at the first set, chipping boxes in 9th, which is all he can do.
Star, maybe.
Yeah, he's gonna try to drop a star.
Derek, yeah, if the shock doesn't happen here, then it's not going to happen until like the last box. Shock comes in, dodging Alex, but also dodging whoever that was using a mega for CB up there. 2 people dodging, 1 from each side, it looks like.
Yeah, Derek's just gonna take on this first home right here, but PT has most of the 2, 3, 4, so
yeah,
too much of a
Tricks
difference.
not able to break the plane, not pulling any items, and not able to pull a blue or anything to get second out of second. Whose shock was that, by the way?
I think that might have been, well, I can't say for sure, but
It had to have been CB, yeah, I would assume, because Derek used his mega, got out of the cut, and the shock happened right there. Jazz was winning out, but then we may or may not have seen a 9er there coming in from Proof. I will confirm in just a second, though. I mean, he was running in front of the runners. It looked to me like he was trying to drop a star, but...
it was a PT shock.
Yeah. It was a PT shock, unfortunately. You know, they already used their dodges at that point, so they just decided to pull the trigger and secure like a 2-3-4 race, knowing that knowing full well Derek was most likely going to get first anyway out of that. So Phantasmagoria not letting that mega deter them, you know, still using that shock effectively. And now we're seeing it was a 9-point deficit going into that race, but I'm not sure what it is now.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 8. And did they get 9th?
No, it was.
So yeah, that's a loss. That's a loss by 3. So
okay,
they're down 12.
Yeah, not too bad. 2 races to go in this overtime period. Both teams opting to go for RBC. RBC has not been played in either match so far, so I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. This is a track in which you want to get up there as early as possible and try to back your life on the other team to try to establish a little bit of a breakaway. What would you do here if you're PT starting in 2-3-4? Would you try to prevent the draft, or would you try to draft early?
You try to draft early.
0 with a good swerve there, and Alex, you know, I feel like Alex could have been a little bit more aware of the fact that 0 needed to adjust his line there to prevent the draft. Really, Alex probably didn't expect that. Tricks getting redded out though, so even exchanges early on, it's going to be a 2-3-4 for PT.
And Alex with these triple shrooms is going to be able to get up there.
And Jazz makes the backward strat first. Prove unsuccessful at blocking Jazz off.
Derek getting that nice side right off on the other Derek, which is going to allow them to get in the top 3. A Pow comes in, which is going to take off all of Alex's shrooms, but there's still top 3 hanging in there.
Yeah, the onus right now is on Norm. If he can pull a bomb or maybe some greens, he's gonna have to try to make a play here. Reds, not a bad item to pull here either, because it's hard to break reds in this particular part of the track. Verley does get hit by one of them, but other than that, I still think PT are running away with this in top 2.
They're gonna need a blue.
I believe Jazz pulled a bill, so Prove ended up overtaking. Does he have the shock? It doesn't look like no. He does not have the shock right now, but he's going to be able to make the backward strat, assuming he doesn't fail. There's not going to be any block-off attempts from Jazz.
Just running into that fib, and just holding it down. Okay. Alex is just going to have to back safely and also put some traps down. Well, Derek has to, you know, if they could double back.
Yeah, I was about to mention too. Yeah, Alex and Derek could start to utilize those double back spams. They haven't really been doing so too much so far. We could be seeing that in lap 3, especially with a fib being held here from Alex. That is a vital item. Opts to throw it away though.
I think Derek might have a Shrooman first then.
That is, yeah, assuming that he did draft, yes.
Oh, Power coming in though. I had a Nana.
And yeah, Verley does get that TC in the end. Trix having to slow down heavily from that though. And Matt is in fourth, top 2-4 pretty cleanly. A shock will most certainly change things around, assuming that is Proof holding on to it right now, or maybe he's trying to drop it for his team. Not entirely sure.
Yeah,
there
it
it
does
is.
come in. He pulls a 5th place golden.
I would like to see Trix try to bump Matt off there. Didn't swerve. I would have liked to see him be a little more proactive there to try to bump him off.
Does take Alex's item away, and if he can just hit him with his back stems right here.
This could be a very, very interesting last part. No back there from Trix. I don't think he was. He didn't want to back his team there. Like if he had missed Alex there, that would have probably connected right onto his teammates. So just held it there. 1-3 for PT, and
and we just had some information that Zero's Wii froze in the right.
Yeah.
Done, so yeah, that's just gonna suck for CB.
A little bit unfortunate there, especially in this, like with the stakes this high. It is very unfortunate. I honestly didn't notice there was a DC because none of the runners were in bottom 2 spots in that entire race. So unfortunate there. His Wii froze on the countdown. And are we going to be seeing PT accepting this race, or are we going to see them conceding and being like, okay, we'll reset for you guys? PT are known for good sportsmanship, so we may see that coming out from them.
Yep, there's the reset.
The reset, and they're going to be keeping the spots. Derek did propose that to happen, and I think that is the rule set. I mean, there is no particular rule that in overtime a certain team will keep their spots if there's a reset. After race 10 in regulation time, that's when the spots can keep, the spots will remain. But yeah, I believe that PT would like to just keep their spots. Zero saying that you're not allowed to do that, but to be fair to them, there is no rule based on overtime whether or not either team can keep their spots or not. Yeah, unfortunately, there's only so much you can cover in this game. This game has a lot of curveballs that can be thrown at you. You know, there's only so much you can do in regards to having rules to this game, because overtime is rare. And to have a reset in an overtime, it's kind of iffy. But all right, so we've got 10 in room, and let's clear up some confusion here. Okay, PT are alt spots right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and PT were wondering if they were going to accept a reset or accept that the race counting or whatnot, but I feel like this is a fair exchange, right? The race counts. Zero his Wii DC'd in the rule set. You're supposed to keep going. They took the race, and now CB have the 2, 4, 6, 8 spots as agreed beforehand with the alt spots. So maybe both teams not too happy. PT not too happy with the outcome, and CB are like, come on, man, accept it for how it is. But I feel like this is fair in the end.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, big last race here, and they subbed Prove out for Bubble, so I'm assuming that's going to be a 5-run.
A 5-run, yeah. This is the last race here. CB have been on one end of the all run when they were facing a Veil in the spring split, and they got all runned on, and they suffered that top 5. They have had a couple of times in which they've all ran themselves. Like last match, they all ran in race 11, despite only being down by high 30s or so. So, Charge Brigade are used to this. They're used to all run, especially in a track like LC where all run doesn't really affect you that much, considering that there's only like a minute and 15 seconds to pull shock.
Yeah.
And LC does come out here for all the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. Luigi Circuit, very underrated track pick. This is going to be key, guys. This is going to be very key. CB needs to draft, get up there early, but a double fib right away from Derek to prevent a potential preemptive strike from CB. And we may just see them start to run away. This could be the beginning of the end for Charge Brigade here. What's the bagging battle looking like?
Well, I mean, they're all running, so
Right.
Jazz is just going to have free ones in 10 if he can get it.
Yeah, both teams are just going to draft each other. It looks, or both players from PT just going to draft each other, try to garner a little bit more of a breakaway. It is going to be a top 3 for PT. Trick's going to be looking to, okay, both laps he hit the pipe, and that time it proved to be even more detrimental to him than in lap 1, as he would have been in first had he not done so. But triple reds, why not?
All PT needs is a first right here.
Yeah, but there's the blue. This could be a start of a potential comeback. For,
Oh,
okay,
he failed the blue dodge!
Oh my god, Alex failed the blue dodge. The pressure was put on him. Shot coming in though, Matt coming up, Goober coming up, or Norm, that's actually Norm coming up. So
that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's it. It's not enough for CB in the end. I thought that would have been the beginning of the end for Alex failing that blue dodge, but it was a PT shock. Phantasmagoria clutch it out. Despite the volatility of Luigi Circuit, they do come away with it in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, Phantasmagoria have pulled out all the stops. Charge Brigade are the first team to be eliminated from this Final 8 tournament. Wow, that's all I have to say. I mean, CB in the end, even though PT at times got a little bit lucky, like let's say with Prue pulling a couple of bills in the bagging department or PT getting a couple of track picks, in the end, CB were just not good enough when they needed to be. The first 2 GPs of match 1, they played well, but after that, they've kind of fizzled out. In this particular match, they had a couple of good races to keep it close, but you know, the likes of Zero and at times Tricks weren't able to keep their top spots whenever they had them, and I feel like that was one of the key factors. Also, you cannot fail to mention Jazz. That man, even though he hasn't pulled too many bills in the tracks that in the tracks that the luck count was fairly even, it was always Jazz coming out on top, especially in the cannon tracks. And you just have to give a round of applause to Jazz. You know, greatness personified. Not single-handedly keeping PT in this tournament, but a very, very vital piece to this side. And he's going to have to be consistent on his day for the future matches coming up, assuming that they are going to be playing the winner of E versus WZ. That's going to be a very important match. And any thoughts on the matter?
Well, I can say is congratulations to PT. And sucks that CB did get knocked out, but you know, usually it'd be CB beating PT a lot, and I know that they have eliminated them from previous tournaments before, so you know, this is definitely a very, very satisfying win for PT, and I can also say, you know, good luck to them later in the tournament, and they will have to play, I believe they have to play, do they have to play again?
Loser of E versus WZ.
So yeah, good luck with them on that, and you know, it's pretty special for them, you know, this win, since, you know, I know that CB and PT had a pretty strong rivalry earlier last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just being able to beat them here and, you know, finally get that redemption factor that they've always wanted, you know, that sweet success, you know, I take my hats off to them.
Certainly. And Phantasmagoria, of course, you mentioned that rivalry, but they started off on the back foot, losing 2 to Charge Brigade in the MKPS setting, 1 in the group stage in Spring Split, 1 in the playoffs in Spring Split. But after that, it's been all Phantasmagoria in this rivalry. I think they won 2 or 3 times in the side tournaments, and then getting a big win in this losers round 1 match. So Charge Brigade, you know, keep your head up if you're Charge Brigade. You know, even though you didn't have the best run in this particular tournament, they still have some positives, assuming that the team will still stay together. I'm not sure if they're going to play in the future, but if they do play in the future, still have a decent amount of positives. You know, they always have chemistry no matter what, and when they are on their day, they're a good team. So in future tournaments, if they do play, just gotta look to try to do that. But other than that, thank you guys so much for coming out. At one point, we had 200 plus viewers, so it just speaks volumes about how interested you guys are in this tournament and in this media team in general. We'll continue to provide good content for you guys, and I would like to thank you guys. Without you guys, we are nothing. So thank you guys. On behalf of Mario Kart Boards, I'm Jaggy.
And Fusion.
We'll see you guys next week.